Never got accused of being gentle before. Good morning. My name is Betty Gilson. I'm your lay worship leader for today's service. I warmly welcome you to the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Bridgewater. This week, leading our service, we're happy to have Reverend Martha Durkee Newman as the assistant minister. She's the assistant minister for Lifespan Faith Formation at First Church in Belmont, Massachusetts. She's a religious educator, community organizer, and raised a UU originally from the Pacific Northwest. So thank you for being here today, Martha. We begin our time of worship with some notices here. Our ushers are today are Sam and Debbie Baumgarten, and our cooking today for the coffee hour is being done by our religious education cooks, led by Luella Mann and Angela Shebley. Before we begin the time of worship, I have a few announcements. One from me. I have a stack of calendars that have been gifted to me by every charity under the sun, and I should have brought them in sooner, but I have put some on a table downstairs, which is where we will be having coffee hour because of the play set up upstairs. So if you want one to use as a calendar or to use for art projects anywhere, at school or anywhere, why, help yourself, okay? I would like them to get some good use. All right, now we have a couple of people who would like to make individual announcements. Desiree, would you like to come first?
So speaking of the play, Foul Players Productions is doing the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee in the Upper Parish Hall. We already had 2 great performances. There are many of you here that came to see it, so thank you. We do have a performance today at 2, so hopefully some of you guys that are here today, you could just go get lunch and come back and come see the show. You can purchase tickets at the door. Also next weekend, it's Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday again at 2. Yeah, hope to see you guys there.
And Jenny Donahue has an announcement she'd like to make.
It's more of a plea. If you notice, I've just put up our current total for our pledge drive this year. We're at $133,031 of the potential $165 we were looking for. So there are several people at home, hi, and probably in this room, hello, who might not yet have passed in their pledge or considered pledging if you're new. And we are really, really, really trying to meet this goal so we can keep Reverend Rosemary as a full-time minister. So please, urgency, ASAP. What are all the other expressions? LMNOP, all the things. Thank you.
First Parish Bridgewater is a welcoming congregation. Love is the power that holds us together. We live our faith values by welcoming all people with love and open hearts. No matter who you are, no matter whom you love, and no matter where you are in your spiritual paths, you are welcome here. If you are joining us for the first time today, we welcome you to share in our worship as your whole self. We also encourage you to fill out the guest book at the back of the sanctuary. For newcomers joining us online, please see the sign-up link posted in the Zoom chat. For those of us joining in worship in the sanctuary, Let's take a moment to welcome our friends joining us virtually this morning. You can wave to the camera and say hello. The camera is turned off to protect your privacy during the sharing of joys and concerns. In the event of an emergency, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors, or if you should need a ramp, through the School Street entrance on my left, on your right. Thank you for joining in worship today. Whether you join us in person or via Zoom, your presence creates our beloved community of faith. We will now begin our time of worship with the prelude. Gil, please come up and light the chalice. No, just Val on solo today. You want to do it with a candle? All right. And would you join with me in our chalice lighting? We light our chalice to mark the sacred hour as we gather with the beautiful stories both in body and spirit. We connect to the many generations that
come here to explore the divine. Let us open our hearts to find holy in relationship to each other, it is time to share worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let us join our voices for the affirmation of our covenant.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. This morning's opening words come from Aboriginal activist Lila Watson. Although when credited with these words, she says no, they arose from a community of shared participation, not hers alone. If you have come to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because you know that your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise again as is most comfortable for you and for your body today. We will sing our opening hymn 151 in your gray hard-backed hymnal, I Wish I Knew How, 151. This is the part of our worship this morning, which is especially designed with our children and our youngest community members, but is for all of us who are, after all, young at heart. I have a story for you today, a story with some truth to it. Once upon a time, in a place not too different from this one, in a time not too different from this one, there lived a community of ants. Now, these ants would scurry around and they would chomp on leaves and they would carry those leaf pieces on their back. And in this community, there was one ant whose name was Andy. Now, Andy was very industrious and hardworking, always took care of their community members and followed the rules. And in this community, it was mandatory for all ants to attend swim lessons. This was a very important community policy, for you see, ants are not particularly good swimmers, and so extra lessons were needed just in case they accidentally found themselves encountering water. So ants took swim lessons and much enjoyed them. One of the teachers always emphasized, if you fall in the water, you have to kick your legs, all make sure no one around you, and swim to the other side of the shore. If you hold on to another ant, you might drag them down with you on accident, and then you both will drown. This was traditional ant wisdom. For you see, the ants had seen other ants grab on to ants when they were swimming, and sometimes 2 ants would drown instead of 1, which was very sad and stressful for the ant community. So whenever a storm would come, all the ants who got caught up in the raid would kick their legs, all 6 of them, and they would swim away from each other, and some would make it to the shore, and some would not. This was very sad, but this was just the way things were. There was nothing to be done about that. A storm came. A storm like none that the ants had ever seen before. A historically bad storm. Now, ants in this community had weathered storms in the past, and ants in other neighboring communities had weathered bad storms as well, but they had sort of forgotten about this because ant memories are famously fairly short. So this was the worst storm that they had faced in their living memory. So much water came down. The rain came and it poured without end. Many ants got swept into the rain and they kicked their from each other. Some made it. But then the flooding really began in earnest, and suddenly there was no shore. Andy got swept up into the current downstream, and they kicked their legs, but there was nowhere to go. Andy saw that their friend Sam was washing down next to them and cried out, "Help!" But they had both been taught not to reach for each other in the storm. "This is not working," Andy cried. And so, in an act of desperation, they reached out and they linked their foot through Sam's foot and they hung on. And they found that they did not drown. But then the current changed and they did start to pull each other down. "No, wait," cried Sam. "We need a little bit more." And they reached out one of their other 6 feet and caught Jesse, who was floating by. And Jesse caught Amal, and Amal caught Avery, and Avery caught Julio. And soon there were quite a lot of ants hooked all together. And soon they built something kind of like a living raft made out of ants. And that's when they discovered they could trap little air pockets between them. And this made them quite buoyant. But their raft was a little unstable in all of that rushing water, and they were starting to tilt, and they were starting to go down, and because they were all hooked together, if they were all going to go down, they were all going to go down. "We need to protect the babies," said Avery. "The ones are the most vulnerable. Make sure that they aren't connected to us, because if we all go down, we can't let the baby down too." But then Jesse, who had been taking care of the babies in this community, the babies are called larvae, Jesse remembered that the larvae have extra air pockets all around them. "I have an idea," they said, "but you're going to trust me." They pulled all the babies close together and they put them on the bottom of the living raft of ants. And that was the strength and the buoyancy and the air they needed. And their living raft of ants popped up to the top of the river and was safe. And down the river they floated with the support of the littlest ones. They were safer linked together in their raft than they had been apart. The littlest ones provided critical support. And eventually the storm came to an end. The flooding decreased and then stopped. The living raft drifted to a far distant shore. They unlinked all 6 legs from each other. They climbed up to the river, and they emerged into a new world. They would have to build a new home there. Now they knew that they could do it. Now they knew they could weather together. The end. Our children now depart for their religious education programs. We invite you to sing them in blessing and song on their way out.
Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and sorrows, those matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and our loved ones. If you have a joy or sorrow, please come to the front to light a candle. Please share fully but briefly into the microphone so that all may hear you. You may also choose to light your candle in silence. Online participants are invited to share by typing your joys and sorrows in the chat. A volunteer in the sanctuary will read them aloud.
I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer or contemplation. Precious and most powerful source of love that moves between all of us in the universe, hold us as we accompany one another. We hold in care all those lives who touch ours, who have been lost, and all those people who care for them. We hold in tenderness all of those among us and who we love who are facing difficult diagnoses and choices. We hold in tenderness all of those who are recovering and rebuilding from the devastation of fire and other events. We hold in joy children in our lives. May they always know that they are a blessing. We hold in joy that spring always comes again to us, even though it may feel like it never will. We hold in joy our new connections, of keeping on and keeping strong, of being here despite it all, of our tender creatures and the resilience with which they rebound. May we know the sorrows that we bring here, whether they are spoken or in our hearts, are known and companioned and loved here. May we know that our joys, those things that fill our hearts with gratitude and abundance, are a gift unto our community when shared with one another. Precious and powerful source, this love that never lets us go, may we remember that we are conduits of that love. That God has no feet but our feet, no hands but our hands. May we move and shape this love between us. Amen. I invite you to remain seated as we will sing our meditation hymn 170. We are a gentle, angry people. We will sing the first 2 verses.
Gentle, angry people,
Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of the church and the mission of a community organization that shares our values. This month, contributions to our collection plate are being shared with Kids to Camp. This is the 18th year that we have been doing this. We're grateful to have seen how our environmental justice project has sponsored children at the Sheep Pasture Nature Camp in Easton, and this has become an annual event for us. During the months of both April and May, the Share the Plate will help with this charity. If you would like to donate specifically to them, you can write a check to First Parish and put Kids to Camp in the memo line. And you may donate online using the information given on the slides. This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
This morning's reading comes from Aurora Levins Morales, called Red Sea, written in 2002. This Passover, who reclines? Only the dead, their cupped hands filling slowly with the red wine of war. We are not free. The blood on the doorpost does not protect anyone. They say that country over there, dim blue in the twilight, farther than the orange stars exploding over our roofs, is called peace. We would cross the water only if we knew how. Everyone blames everyone else for barring the way. Listen, they say, there is honey swelling in golden combs over there. Dates as sweet and brown as lovers' cheekbones, bread as fragrant as rest. But the turbulent water will not part for us. We've lost the trick of it. Back then, one man's faith opened the way. This time, we're tied at the ankles. We cannot cross until we carry each other. All of us refugees, all of us prophets. No more taking turns on history's wheel, trying to collect old debts no one can pay. The sea will not open that way. This time, that country is what we promise to one another. our rage pressed cheek to cheek until tears flood the space between, until there are no enemies left. Because this time, none of us will be left to drown. All of us must be chosen. This time, it's all of us or none. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Martha Durkee Newman. It is such a delight to be here. Thank you for having me in your pulpit, good people of Bridgewater, to welcome me to deliver, hopefully, a timely and hard-hitting spiritual message about standard issue automobile headlight brightness. Have you noticed that headlights have gotten brighter over the last couple of decades? Me too. At the risk of sounding a little bit like a curmudgeon instead of a spiritual leader of our shared faith tradition, I must say the headlights are too bright. I have been noticing this over the past couple of years, and I have been squinting, brushing it off, sometimes grumbling. But on one particular occasion last year, I was sitting at an intersection near my home, and I couldn't see anything in my rearview mirror at all. And I realized I couldn't see the stoplight in front of me change color because of the brightness of the headlights coming at me. And I was stuck, trapped in the intersection, unable to see enough, I thought. So I started looking into it, and I found, as you all gave me a little grumble earlier, that other people share this grumble with me. And according to publicly available data from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the standard issue automobile headlight brightness has nearly doubled in the last 20 years alone. In 2024, Nate Rogers published an investigative journalistic piece for The Ringer looking into this phenomenon. For nearly the previous 30 years, headlights had remained the sepia-toned halogen beams, which had been used in generations of cars. Then LED headlights came onto the stage and were fast-tracked into near universal use in new car designs. These headlights are much brighter, with a wide swath that helps the driver see farther and more clearly. The Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 108, written in 1986, bear with me, has not been adjusted to create new restrictions for these kind of headlights. There's no maximum brightness standard. And this is because it is understood that LEDs increase our safety because the driver can see more. I've accidentally become an expert in this, quite by accident. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety rates car safety, and they say that the brighter your headlights, the higher your safety ratings. Car companies want higher safety ratings, so they up the brightness of headlights, with an underlying philosophy that if the brighter my headlights and the more I can see, the safer I am. However, when I was frozen in that intersection, unable to see in front of me or behind, I was making other drivers on the road less safe because of my own unsafe behavior. Overly bright headlights, which hinder the ability of other drivers to see, leads to an increased risk of car accidents. And too bright lights in the eyes of pedestrians has led to the possibility of more accidents between cars and people. People and other cars are negatively impacted by increasing brightness of headlights, which is supposedly keeping me, the driver, safe from harm. When others are harmed, This makes me less safe because I am more likely to be in an accident if others are made less safe by me and my behavior. One headlight activist, Paul Gatto, has said in his dealings with insurance companies, car companies, and federal regulation in a quest to reduce headlight brightness, says that he's dealing with a philosophical enemy. So, here I am, a minister of your shared faith tradition, standing before you, an accidental headlight brightness expert. How did this happen to me? Preaching you the good anti-headlight word. Why? Because this underlying philosophy that I am safer when I self-protect, others be darned, is fundamentally antithetical to my values as a Unitarian Universalist and the world that I feel called for us to build together. And I think this case is fairly revealing of the work in front of us of building this world. I know deep into my bones that I am not free unless all of us are free, that I am not safe unless all of us are safe. This belief is connected to a vision of a world in which we are collectively tied to one another, a world that I know to be true, but can sometimes feel hard to achieve because of this cultural value around individualism. One of the underlying philosophies in this debate about headlight brightness is the prioritization of the individual. But beyond that, I would argue that this is one of the biggest foes that we as a people are facing as we learn what it looks like to be committed to true solidarity. Paul Gatto's philosophical enemy. In the United States, we have this cultural value as the individual at the starting point for collective analysis. The lone cowboy out on his steed, interfacing with the elements, relying on no one, all alone. This image can invoke a particular American pride at the idea of an isolated, rugged individual. But this image is one of the tools upon which the oppressions that keep us separate from each other is based. Believing that your individual safety and protection is based on how you alone can keep yourself safe, and the fate of other people, pedestrians, drivers, ants, members of your human family does not impact you, feels true, but isn't. We are not isolated, rugged cowboys out on our horses alone. Sometimes we are ants in the river, kicking 6 legs, not seeing other ants swimming alongside us, believing that if we are tied together, if the ship goes down, we all go down together. But the truth is that that is already true. Our fates are so deeply and fundamentally connected to one another. Our safety is only held collectively with each other. We are always one another's living life raft. We know this because we live right now in a society experiencing the impacts of a framework for safety that our political leaders have tricked us into accepting about each other and about our immigrant neighbors in particular. We have been told that ICE is here to protect us, and we know that that is not true. Many people in our world have been tricked into believing that people in our communities who are different from us are to be feared or criminalized or removed, and that somehow that makes us safer. But empowering ICE has made us all less safe. We live in a society with more violence because of this philosophical enemy, and we are made less safe by it. I do not only care about the safety of my friends and neighbors because I love them, I do love them, and I am made less safe by my neighbor's unsafety. And I am made meaningfully more free by my neighbor's freedom. The brightest headlights do not automatically make me safer if they cause my neighbor not to be able to see the stoplight. This is true on a personal level. It's true on a societal level. Last year, I'd seen some good movies, so I watched the Oscars, and the Academy Award for the documentary film went to a film called No Other Land. Its production team won this award: Basil Adra, Rachel Zar, Hamdan Bilal, and Yuval Abraham. The documentary is about the destruction of the Masafer Yatta community in the occupied West Bank territory in Palestine by Israeli troops. Basil is a human rights activist from Palestine, and Yuval is an Israeli journalist. The two are beloved, dear friends and a creative team. They spoke together when they accepted the Academy Award. Yuval, the Israeli man, said, "When I look at Basil, I see my brother, but we are unequal. We live in a regime where I am free under civilian law, but Basil is under military laws that destroy his life that he cannot control. But there is a different path. There is a political solution without ethnic supremacy, with national rights for both our people. Can't you see that we are intertwined? That my people can only be truly safe if Basil's people are truly free and safe. There is another way. It is not too late for life, for the living. There is no other way." Just this past week, our president threatened nuclear annihilation among a sovereign nation. All of us here and around the world will be impacted if those threats come to be. We are not made more safe by threatening others. War anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere. Last month, a man attacked a synagogue in Michigan. We learned later that 2 of his family members had been killed by US and Israeli airstrikes on Lebanon. When we shine our headlights into others' eyes, thinking we are keeping ourselves safe, sometimes they might run into us. You heard these words earlier from Aurora Levins Morales. She's a Puerto Rican Jewish poet and a 6th-generation movement radical. In her words, she wrote this poem that you heard earlier for Passover, which ended on Thursday. She writes, "This Passover, who reclines? Only the dead. We are not free." Interfacing with our world, moving through our world, it is so painful to encounter the devastation and fear that is present in our world. This world that we have built, that has been built and left to us, where the movements of fascism have risen to the halls of power, where we have been tricked into believing that we are not connected with one another, that our actions do not impact one another, where we stand on the edge of the sea, struggling with how to cross. This is hard work. And we're left with these questions of what do we do? How do we get out? How do we create that new world? How do we get to another shore? How do we build a new way? Aurora says we cannot cross until we carry each other. All of us refugees, all of us prophets, because this time no one will be left to drown. This time all of us will be chosen. This time it's all of us or none. We do know a better way of being and belonging. We do know the limitless possibilities that lie for us when we link our feet together. Yuval says there is another way. It is not too late for life, for the living. There is no other way. In January, Reverend Rosemary and I traveled to Minneapolis together. We went there to stand in solidarity with communities resisting against ICE violence and oppression. The organizers there told us and taught us how deeply and profoundly we are linked to one another. And we ought to watch as community by community in Minneapolis, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, here in Massachusetts, rose up to protect and defend one another, to say all of our neighbors belong, all of us belong together, that we will protect each other no matter what, not because we are different from one another, but because we are the same. In Minneapolis, they taught us a song written by the Peace Poets, inspired by this poem by Aurora Levins Morales. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. In my journey to become a Headlight Brightness scholar, Unitarian Universalist minister, I have learned a lot about collective safety. I have learned about new innovations such as adaptive driving beam technology, which has the potential to automatically dim headlights to stay bright but not too bright when oncoming drivers approach. I have also learned that my fate is so fundamentally tied to the fate of my neighbors. I cannot keep myself safe if my actions make others less safe. But it takes courage and creativity and commitment to stay in solidarity with all of us. It takes communities coming together week after week, making food and coffee, teaching children, gathering together, picking up sticks. It takes all of us dreaming together, reminding each other that this vision of freedom is true and is ours. It takes all of us working together to unwed the structures of injustice out of our world, from unjust detentions all the way down to car headlights. I have learned what it takes to stand in the pulpit, in the streets, in our homes, at work, in our schools, to say it loud and to say it clear that we know a new way, that we know that there is a brightness that does not cause others harm, that there is a balance with innovation and care and memory, that there are solutions rooted in our values of collective safety that lead us into a shared future, that we know that when we link our feet together and we build a raft, that we can weather any storm. We cannot cross until we carry each other. So may we carry one another. And I know that together we can cross this sea with just the right amount of light for all to see. May it be so, and amen. I will invite you to rise as is most comfortable for you and for your body. We will sing our closing hymn together, 1017, in your teal soft-backed hymnal, 1017, Building a New Way. May this benediction carry us in our week to come. My friends, when we stand at the edge of an ocean not knowing how to cross, may we not forget that we have been here before and we know the way. We cannot cross unless we carry one another. So may we link our feet together and know that we can weather any storm. May it be so, and amen.
Words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our time for worship has ended. Our time of fellowship now begins. If you would like to stay for coffee hour, please make your way to the lower parish hall, and we will find out what goodies they have ready for us. The ushers will assist you in using the elevator if you need it. Next week's service will be focused on the life of Jane Goodall and presented by the Green Sanctuary Committee.
Really enjoyed